Hello and welcome back to Maya Rockstars. This is part 5. So in part 5, we're going to go over how to do NURBS modeling. So NURBS stands for non-uniform rational B-splines. So not real important, but let's take a look at what we can do by just creating curves. So before we create a NURBS surface or any type of surface, usually we want to start with curves. So in our earlier lessons, we just did things by creating primitives, but now we're going to create objects from curves. So we'll take a look at the curves tools first. So right now, the main ones we're going to really look at are the CV curve tool and the EP curve tool. So we'll want to take a look at those. You'll notice that you can open some options for these, and right now we're going to keep this on cubic, and we're going to just start drawing. So the first thing we're going to do is sort of like pottery. We're going to think of this as pottery. So think of this as like a pottery wheel. Think of this center line as where the clay is spinning, but we really don't have any clay. So we're just creating a lathe, basically. So if you've ever taken wood shop or something like that, you've probably worked on a lathe. You had a spinning piece of wood, and then you had a chisel, and you carved it out. So that would be going this way. On a pottery wheel, you'd have something spinning this way. So you'd have like a piece of clay and spinning that way. So let's pretend we're on a pottery wheel, and we'll go ahead and create that. We'll go ahead and do a create CV curve tool. So now CV curves are done by creating, you have to have at least 4 CVs. So CV stands for control vertex. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I hold down my X key and click on the grid, because I want it to be really at the dead center of my y-axis here. So I want to start there, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the rest of the curve. Now notice you got what appears to be a straight line here, but really that's not what's happening. And you'll see when I click my 4th point here, it projects a curve. So you'll see this sort of CV shape here outlines or sort of projects where the curve is going to go inside of. And so I'll just keep clicking here and kind of make a vase shape. So it'll take you a little while to get used to that, and you want to make sure you hit return when you're done. So after I've hit return, now I should have my shape. I won't see any of the handles, and want to make sure you do this, complete the curve before you go in and start trying to create a shape or a 3D object from that curve. So remember, I am in the side view now. It doesn't matter. You could have been in the side or front view and drawn this curve. But if you look at my 3D view now, you'll see that that curve kind of exists here. What we don't want to do when we're creating the curve is cross over the center line here, because then part of the shape will be inside out. So make sure you draw the profile outside of that. And then we'll go ahead and do a surface. So we'll want to be in modeling for this. And so all the NURBS creation tools are going to be under here, this surface menu. So let's do the first one as a revolve. So we'll go into revolve, and we'll open the options up here, make sure that we're revolving around the right axis. So remember I said with a revolve, if we're doing things like on a pottery wheel, we're going to want to spin things around this way, right? So this would be the center line, or the y-axis here if you look on these views. So we want to make sure that we're spinning on the y-axis, and we can leave the rest of these things blank, the way they are for now. So we'll go ahead and apply. And so you'll get this shape here. Now sometimes your shape might appear inside out, so in case you might have something that looks like this, and I'm going to go to reverse surface direction. So you might see it looking like this, like it's all black, and you can easily correct that by just going to the surface menu and going to reverse surface.